Again, welcome, and thank you so much for connecting everybody. I see there's somebody else coming in. Welcome to this Creative Zone CZ Connect concept. It's an idea of bringing together some of the people that we work with, some of our clients, some of our partners. Many of you have really interesting stories to share and to tell, and it's a bit of a networking session, as if we were all going out for a dinner or meeting somewhere, and nowadays with this COVID situation, we just wanted to bring another space where we can all interact and meet one another. We thought that there were some possibilities of you guys interconnecting with one another and each other. I think all of you have really interesting stories to tell. Sishan, I understand that we have a bit of an outline of who is speaking and so on, but I think it's a bit easier to go with who I have in front of me or next to me or on the side. So let me get started like that, where I see Corey over there, and he was in one of the at the top. So Corey, the idea of this is that we give everybody a 3-minute slot. We want you to tell us about who you are, what is your journey, what you've been doing, and then as you are speaking, share your email address on the chat so that everybody can stay connected with you. What is your website, things like this, because I'm sure that from the conversation, some of us are going to want to be in touch with one another and hopefully take the conversation to the next step. So Corey, we can start with you. Tell us a little bit about you, your journey, how long you've been in Dubai, and what is your company?
Yeah, so I've been in Dubai for 8.5 years. I was in Yemen for 5 years before that, and Estonia, Eastern Europe for 8 years before that. I've started 7 companies of my own, 5 of them in Eastern Europe and 3 of them here. I am postgraduate professor of strategic management at Monarch School of Business in Switzerland. And now I've kind of got a little bit of an emeritus status. I do strategy, restructuring, leadership, and organizational behavior consulting for companies ranging from 40 employees to 40,000 employees. So right now, at the moment, I am doing the leadership training and strategy for ADNOC in Abu Dhabi, and I'm doing the leadership training and strategy for a small business startup here with about 45 employees. So for me, the size of the organization isn't really important. The other thing that I think you might find interesting is that I have a book that I just published a couple of months ago called Spartan CEO. And it is not only a book, it is a series of 6 masterclasses on performance leadership. And basically what it is just over the last decade, I've been doing a lot of executive coaching. I've dealt with a lot of CFOs, CEOs, and I've realized that there are massive differentiators between high-performing executives and lower-performing executives. So I put together a cheat sheet on all the science that will make you the highest-performing leader you can possibly be in an organization. And I take a holistic biopsychosocial approach to leadership on that. And I tell people, don't follow me, follow the science. I just happen to have written it down. That's it.
How has it been the last 2 years in terms of your work? Where have you seen the most interest coming through the last 2-3 months?
The last 2-3 months has been SMEs trying to survive or pivot, right? And so there's a lot of, in a storm like this, the only ships that survive are the really, really big ones and the really, really small ones. SMEs are the ones that are gonna suffer the most. So I've also put together a free course for any of you that are leading small businesses. There's a free course on my leadership site called the COVID-19 SME Survival Guide. And as an economist, as a leader, as a business strategist, I put together all of my best material on how you can pivot and survive in COVID-19, because it's going to get worse still before it gets better. Right now is just the lull before the second wave. So we don't have a vaccine. There's only 3 ways any pandemic ends, is through a vaccine or a cure, or there's no more new hosts. So SMEs have been struggling, and those SMEs that don't know how to pivot their services or don't know how to limit their liquidity burn rate, they're the ones that are suffering the most. So I find that the really, really small companies and really, really big companies are going to be fine. But if you're in the middle there somewhere, those are the people that are calling me the most.
Do you feel that still we have a bit to go back to normality and to recover from this? I'm getting mixed messages. I'm hearing people say that things are picking up, things are getting better. Many of you have and are working in different industries. Mm-hmm. So I'm keen to hear everybody's thoughts after this, but what's your take on that?
Yeah, my take on it is that this is a reprieve. But the problem is that the governments of the world are trading lives for lives, right? They're trading liquidity for lives. And when you burn liquidity too much in a large economy, that economy can collapse. So they're trying to stave off a major economic collapse by slowing the burn rate of liquidity by allowing more people into the market. Of course, allowing more people into the market and the market to move means that the virus behaves like a virus and it starts to move around too.
Yeah.
So there's that dangerous balance that our governments of the world have to maintain, in that they're trying to save as many lives as possible, but also save as much liquidity in the economy as possible. And the problem with liquidity is once too much of it is burned down, you lose lives anyway. Right? Statistically speaking, every 234th person that loses their job involuntarily will die as a direct result of that decision. And it's very, very difficult for, not just that, but there's other major economic impacts that lead to real human death because of the economic impact of things like this. So it's not like we're trading liquidity as just money for lives. We're actually trading one kind of life for another kind of life.
Yeah.
So if we allow the economy to fail too much, then too many people will die as a result of that. And we don't really count those numbers the way that we should.
So as a final question, Corey, what is it that you can do for people on this chat today? How can you help certain entrepreneurs? How can they reach out to you? And what is it that you can help them with?
Now, look, on an individual level, I can help you become the kinds of people that are very high performing. You have addictions, habit-forming addictions to high-performing behaviors that you've never had before. You understand that sleep and rest is a strategy just as much as fitness and mental agility. I can help you get into your flow state. I can help you with executive coaching to make sure that you are performing at your absolute best. Okay, that I can do. From a business standpoint, whether you're pivoting to succeed or you're just struggling to survive, I can help you with strategy. And I really don't mind giving my advice to small business owners for free. So go ahead and reach out to you. I will talk to you for free. Like, it's not billable. I understand. I'm a small business owner myself. I've started 7 companies of my own. I get it. If you're suffering, reach out to me. I will help you. You have access to like one of the best European professors of strategy in front of you. And I just happen to be located in Dubai. So please go ahead and reach out to me. My email address that I put there, Corey@paragon.ae. That is my personal email address. If you write to me, I will respond.
Excellent. Perfect, Corey. Thank you so much for that.
It's my pleasure, Lorenzo.
James, we can continue with you. Tell us a little bit about you. I mean, you are a bit of an entrepreneur in Dubai. You've started quite a few things. James Gosling, what is it that you are currently handling? We're working with you through Pipeline. Tell us about Pipeline and the other things that you're handling.
Yeah, okay. So I've been in Dubai for about 17 years, working at I worked in a corporate organization, Dell, and then worked as an entertainer for about 10 years. And then 3 years ago, started Pipeline. So Pipeline is a B2B lead generation platform, generally based around offline. So we have a call center. But in terms of what we do, we can help with sales strategy development, research, data building, direct lead generation through phone calls, lead generation through digital marketing campaigns. We recently had an equity buy-in from a company called DigiNexa, which helps us create one of the first, only potentially kind of fully end to almost end lead generation businesses. So we can produce marketing qualified leads through to sales qualified leads to businesses. We started as a kind of focusing on SMEs, but we've moved up the stack really, and we're looking at more the medium, large enterprises now, working with a number of international businesses such as SAP, Microsoft, Cigna, a couple of others. And yeah, that's really kind of the very high level. It's very simple. We create, we do the hard work and the shitty work that people sometimes don't understand how they do it. So there's a bit of a science behind it. I'm not quite as eloquent as Corey, to be honest. I'm from Yorkshire, so we'll do the data building, data researching, etc. Call somebody and then give somebody a lead that is qualified to a level that we've spoken to a decision maker. We know there's a budget, we know there's a timeline, we know the competition in the market, like that.
So nowadays it's been all about creating leads and working on digital platforms. and getting to those clients through social media. Have you seen an upswing in business in the last few months?
Yeah, it's kind of back to your point, Corey. I just think this is the start of it. Everyone got really excited in June that they were kind of let out the houses and they all run out kind of like rabid dogs. That the business is back to normal. And for us, June was a great month. July was an absolute car crash. When actually things aren't back to normal again. August has been good so far, but people are becoming, I think people are wary, especially in Dubai, and a couple of good points, Corey, in terms of governments are trying to kind of generate business through starting as many businesses as possible. Obviously, that's kind of what Creative Zone's business is about, but Dubai's and the UAE is an already flooded market. So there's more and more businesses starting, and it's a tougher market. Wallets are tighter than ever. Dubai has really been kind of historically been a market where you'll send a quote, a signed quote will come across, you'll invoice them, and then 3 months later they'll say, I'm going to pay you in 2 months, but I'll pay you 50% of your invoice. So money is, and especially for the SMEs, when like for large businesses, they don't really care because they've got tons of, or they've got cash flow, etc. Small businesses depend on being paid. And I truly believe that it was interesting because we're going to do some work with Dubai SME, and Dubai SME is for Emirati organisations, and we were talking about being paid and the payment issues, and they're going, we've got no issues at all because if our Dubai SMEs aren't paid in 15 days, the central bank pay them in 30. And I was like, well, what about the rest of us, as in the majority of us? They're like, well, that's not our problem. But
yeah.
So the market has to understand that for the SMEs to really survive, there has to be a discussion on payment.
Yeah.
That's a different topic totally.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, James, for that. Abby, hi. Can you tell us a bit about you and your experience so far these last few months?
Sure. My company is called Word Power. We are a corporate communications consultancy specializing currently in the maritime sector, trade, logistics, that sort of thing. We do what we say on it's on the tin. We help companies develop comm strategy, marketing communications, thought leadership positioning, and even the day-to-day stuff of press releases, speeches, all that kind of stuff. Anything a company needs to say, we package it for them and make sure they mean what they say and say what they mean, basically. There's a lot of times companies forget that they have to take a very measured approach to what they're trying to communicate, to whom they're communicating, and when they're communicating it, especially in this part of the world. So in terms of business, we've been stable, nothing great, but COVID has obviously taken a toll on the comms market. It's actually a very interesting place because there is this understanding and need by companies here that they need to communicate more than ever, both internally and externally. And let's not forget that communicating internally is just as important for large firms. But they're also not sure, can they continue to spend on something like comms? Comms is often seen as a cost center for a business. It's not something that directly generates revenue for the company. So we're seeing this very interesting, you could say, it's like a weird split in their thought process, and they're not sure how they should approach this, but this is where we come in and we help them. One of the things I like to tell my clients is that the goal here, as a company, I would love it if you keep me forever. But what I would really like to see is that your comms team over here grows and gets the competencies where we are not needed anymore. And that's the target. And we kind of work towards that. And so far it's worked out for us.
What kind of work you could give out to the people in this session now? How can you help them out?
Absolutely. Every company, like I said, needs to communicate in some form or the other, whether you're talking to external stakeholders, whether you're talking to the general public, whether even in a session like this, where you need to have a very measured approach as to what you say and how you present yourself. That's where we can really help you out. And And much like what Corey was saying, I have no problems in giving my 2 cents or giving my advice to anyone who needs it. I'll just share my email address and phone number in the chat after I finish talking. And please feel free to reach out. Feel free to ask, is this a good idea? Is this good for my brand? Will this help me reach out to the kind of audience I'm going for? It can be something long-term. It can be something short-term. And friendships first, and then we can develop the business later. Let's start there.
Definitely. Thank you for joining, Nabil. Thank you. Sure. Hi, Carolina. How are you, dear?
Hey, Lorenzo. How are you?
Good, good. You also have quite an interesting story in Dubai. You've been here for a while. You've been a client of Creative Zone for a few years. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I have been here for 12 years already, and I have been a client for Creative Zone for the past 9 years. I started building a 6W agency in 2011. 6W agency is an integrated marketing agency that actually help clients to develop all their marketing strategy, and especially now digital strategy. So we have flipped all our clients, for example, to a digital planning and strategy. So for us, to be really honest, business is going as normal because we have a lot of retainer clients. So they have flipped all their communications from what they have before, advertising in billboards and things like that, to digital that is more effective actually. So I'm quite happy that everyone now is getting to the virtual era, because I have been trying to push my clients for the past 5 years to it, in sense of like I work with a lot of retails. So you will be shocked that some retails until now, they didn't have e-commerce, or they didn't like actually push social media how they should be pushing. So now I have been a kind of time where I'm like, I told you so to some of the clients, but it's good. And some new clients, actually, some new relationships, especially with e-commerce, social media. We have a really good expertise developing social media marketing campaigns and managing social media. And also it's quite funny because I have been a nomad agency myself from the beginning. I have never, like I have Creative Zone desk, but I have never used them because my team is all around the world. So I have team in Canada, in Chile, in Africa, in Australia, in Thailand. My creative director was working from Thailand for the past 5 years, servicing clients here and in UK. So for me, this structure, this business structure is quite normal. Actually, it's quite effectively financially. So thank God I haven't been suffering too much the impact of rents and salaries and things like that. And I'm helping actually my clients with understanding how they can do the employee engagement through virtual communication, kind of softwares that they should bring in place for their marketing team, because I have it already for 9 years. So, and I actually were the one convincing them to understand that if I have a studio, for example, or we have an agency where we are having, I don't know, 30 desks where not everyone is actually billing. Well, at the end of the day, the person that is paying that is the client, not us. So it's in the billing of the clients anyways. So they have understand through the process, and now everyone is like, well, thank God we moved to this kind of agency, because there is a lot of corporations that are having the challenge of now managing agencies in a virtual spectrum, and they are not quite confident that they will answer or deliver and things like that, you know.
Do you feel that that the old school big agencies with big offices and hundreds of employees, is this over for this type of environment?
For this type of environment, for sure. It's no way. Well, you know, Lorenzo, I was an MD and regional MD for some of that kind of agencies, and there is no way that your pipeline now or your P&L can actually support having all that space without being utilized. And clients right now are not going for the really, really expensive campaigns. Digital is more cheap even for clients.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that they will need to be forced to actually flip to a more dynamic system.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Carolina. Nice to see you.
You're
And everybody, if
welcome.
they would like to
Thank
get in touch
you.
with Carolina, her
Yeah,
details
you
are
already
there.
left. Yeah,
I've seen her work and I can totally recommend what she does.
thank you.
So,
Lorenzo.
dear, hi, dear. You also are part of a very interesting industry. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi, everybody. I've been in Dubai since 1997, so over 23 years. Basically a banker, and in this industry since the last 3-4 years. What we do is we are in the immigration industry, and in specific citizenship and residency by investment only. So what that means is that an individual or a family can invest in a country, and by means of investing in that country, you get an economic citizenship. You get either a passport or a residency. And this field, I think maybe now people are starting to know more about this industry, but it's been existing since 1985. Initially, Canada was the biggest in this, followed by St. Kitts. It's a small island in the Caribbean. They started in 1980s, 86, 87. After that, I think 10 years later, I think programs came in. So you can say that it's a fairly new industry. So maybe 20 to 30 years. And the growth that is happening is really in the last 5 to 6 years. So I'm excited to be a part of this industry, because previously I was a banker, which is like, I think, centuries old industry. And banking has been there forever and ages. And although it's a vast area, banking, and I've worked in different departments like IT, product development, and different areas, and it's been always interesting and challenging, but it's been a part of a bigger machine called banking. Whereas this industry is new, exciting, you know, every day, especially now, I believe, with the COVID situation, governments are looking to generate foreign direct investment, and they will be bringing in either new programs or fine-tuning their existing ones to make it more attractive. And also from an individual's perspective, I think everybody is looking for a plan B, either to diversify the risk, the business risk, or to find a safe haven to move their family to. There are various reasons why a person or a business or a family could be looking for a second passport or a residency.
Great. Thank you so much, Sadia. Now, if anybody nowadays has friends that are looking for a new passport, for a new residency, you know where to contact Sadia now. She will help you with this. Hi,
I'll leave my
how are you?
details.
Yeah? Go ahead. Yes, Sadia?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'll leave my details on the chat and anybody can contact us.
Yeah, definitely. You can find Sadia's details there on the chat. Thank you, Sadia.
Thank you.
Sunil, how are you?
Very good, thanks, Lorenzo. How are you doing?
Good, good. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, I've got a small presentation. Can I share that? And
Sure, sure. I think we are allowing screen sharing, yeah?
Okay, yeah, okay, perfect to me. Okay, I'll run through this. It's fairly quick, but it helps the picture, extend the picture a bit better. Is that working?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me start with this. Imagine a world where none of the taps in your house deliver any water. In fact, imagine a world where 800 million people live constantly without access to water, and many of them needing to walk multiple hours each day to reach the nearest source. And even then, it is filthy and contaminated. Now, join me in imagining a world where every community is provided with a clean source of water right in the heart of their village, where waterborne disease becomes a thing of the past, and where women and girls no longer spend their days with the back-breaking task of carrying water for miles. Instead, the young ones can attend school and have time to play, and the older ones have the choice to work or just be present and be full-time mums. Imagine that, communities across the globe with ready access to clean water all of the time, just like us. This is the world I'm working to create with Project Maji, a social enterprise with a vision to provide the smallest communities in sub-Saharan Africa with sustainable access to clean water. Now, our starting point was to disrupt the current practice of installing hand pumps in these small communities. It is a centuries-old technology that is massively unreliable and is frankly completely unsuitable to be used as an intervention today. And we identified 3 key issues with the hand pump that had to be changed. Number 1 was we had to remove this physical effort in pumping. Number 2, we had to improve the delivery flow of the water to avoid long queues in collecting water at busy times. And critically, we had to develop an operational model that would ensure the long-term reliability of any technology we were going to provide to a community. So we developed what we call the Maji Cube, a water kiosk that was going to be reliable and easy to deploy even in the most remote areas. Using solar power, it eliminates any physical effort and has no reliance on expensive and unreliable grid power. Clean water is stored in a 5,000-litre tank and dispensed through multiple taps for ease and convenience. With this standardized solution, we are able to provide sustainable access to communities for as low as $15 per person and a running cost of just 0.1 cent per litre. And to ensure our sustainability, we have also become a water services provider. Each kiosk is remotely monitored and a team of trained engineers is ready to attend to any issues, of course, in the unlikely event that something may happen. Now, it's this long-term approach and social enterprise mentality that has allowed us to achieve the impact we have till date. Over 5 years, we have built more than 60 kiosks in Ghana and Kenya and are on target to cross 100 installations by the end of this year. That means we will be permanently lifting more than 100,000 people out of water poverty and, in turn, financial poverty. We are giving women an opportunity to work, kids the time to go to school, and transforming entire communities by bringing them health, happiness, and dignity. Now, we're always looking for new partners and supporters, and I'd welcome any of you to join us on our journey to reach 1 million people by 2025. Thank you.
That's excellent. Very nice. Now, Sunil, a few questions that pop up in my mind. How do you transport the water into those tanks?
So there's underground aquifers. So typically the hand pump is pumping them up with manual effort. So we've removed that using solar-powered pumps to bring them up.
Excellent. And then, so how do you sponsor these projects? Do you get like government bodies to support some of these for you to install these around the world?
Honestly, we'd like to get government support, but in the places we work, that doesn't really happen. So actually the model we have is we work with corporates and some other NGOs. We get sponsorship that pays for the hardware. And then, as I mentioned, we charge a very nominal price for the water, and that makes sure that we cover all our running costs, all the maintenance costs is done by running the water. That ensures that we can be around for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years.
How much is it to install one of those in a place like Kenya?
Ballpark about $15,000. That's supply of equipment, transport, installation, training, the whole thing. So, and it supplies about 1,000 people. So about $15 per person.
And then there is a charge, minimum charge that is charged for the people consuming this? Yes,
0.1 cent per litre.
Interesting. Very, very interesting project, Sunil. Congratulations on that. And I'm happy to explore how we can help at Creative Zone and see how we can at least promote or see how we can help you on this. I particularly have traveled a lot around Africa. Carolina has been in Kenya herself that I know. So we know a few places around Africa. Happy to explore a little bit more on this, Sunil.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. Steve, good evening. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
We have a webinar coming up with you next week, is it?
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Tell us a little bit about you and your history here.
Okay. I've been here coming up 15 years. So I've got 35 years experience in senior HR in various countries around the world. And for the last 7 or 8 years, I've been focusing on developing online courses and helping individuals to and small businesses to improve the way that they do things using basic problem solving. Nothing as elevated, let's say, as what Corey's been doing, where he's working with very large organizations. I'm tending to focus down a bit further. And the two areas I'm focusing on at the moment, one, we've got an online course and a coaching course coming up for employees to basically learn how to keep their jobs during COVID. So we're teaching people how to be much better at communicating, how to be productive from home, how to get their hearts and their heads and their hands aligned, let's say, so that they are able to work efficiently at home, and critically how to manage the relationship with their managers. And one of the things that that came through listening to Corey talking about the need to have high performance executives, there's also a massive need for middle management to learn some, because for most mid-level managers, they've used the concept of presenteeism. So if I can see you, you must be working. If you're at home and I can't see you, then you're probably not working. You're probably surfing the net, or you're out walking your dog. So I'll tell you what, I'll organize impromptu Zoom calls with you, and I won't tell you when. And if you're not available, then see, I was right. You can't be trusted. So there's a massive, massive issue. I'm seeing everybody smiling because this is what's happening. And there's a massive job inside organizations to teach managers and their managers, by the way, how to think differently about people who are going to be working remotely from now on. There's a fascinating article came out a couple of days ago from the head of strategy at PwC. He said that we're now back to the future. 10 years of work transformation has collapsed down into today. And what Carolina was talking about in terms of having spent 9 years building a remote team that she makes that work effectively, she's very much in a tiny, tiny minority of organizations who know to do that. The average business in Dubai, the average business in Saudi, the average business up to a couple of thousand people has no clue how to manage remotely. So what we're also doing is and this is what we're doing with Creative Zone, we're putting together a fairly straightforward program to teach people who are either thinking that they're going to lose their jobs or have lost their jobs and need to start out as an SME. We're teaching them how to understand the new nature of work and how integrity is now, if you like, it's the new fashion. Integrity management. People want to buy from companies who they can see are looking after their staff, or who are dealing in a particular way, which shows that they recognize that everybody's going through a lot of difficulty at the moment. And so there's that aspect. So once again, that's quite micro, helping people get businesses started. And the third leg of the double, as we say in New Zealand, is that we're also working with, we're just starting to work with some organizations, and we've got a little side business called Transitionally. And what Transitionally does is help them understand how integrity is now such a feature out in the marketplace, and what they need to do to pivot their organizations internally so that they not only maximize their cash flow through structure change, process change, skill changes, which I've got 30 odd years experience in doing, but now they're doing it in the context of how they're going to appear to what these new client expectations are. And implicit in that is the idea of actually training managers to think differently about how they manage remotely, and also training their staff how to work remotely. And for a lot of people, that's incredibly difficult, because they spend a bit of time working at home, and then they have to come into the office because, now the regulations are being relaxed. So you can come into the office a day a week or 2 days a week, but you may not be in there with the same people each time. And when you get there, it's like you've been on vacation. So you spend most of your time talking. So what we've got to get companies to understand is that's okay. Communication happens every day in organizations. And so if the very first thing that people do when they get into the office after they've been working from home is just do this for an hour. Great, structure it. Have that be part of the way the organization works. Legitimize the fact that people are forming networks again, and then build on that so that when they're remote again, they've got something that they can take away with them that actually works and brings them through the next week before they go back into the office. So it's just a quite different way of looking at the age-old problem of productivity and understanding that head, heart, and hands have got to be aligned. Otherwise, you're just going to get burnout and depression, and you'll get no commitment from people, and that's absolutely crucial. Far more crucial now than it ever was. You have to build an engaged workforce, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot more difficult than it used to be. Okay.
Indeed.
That's it.
Great. Thank you for that, Steve. And for all of you, we're doing a nice webinar with Steve in about 10 days, so the following week. So we'll encourage everybody to see that. We'll send you an invite to that. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Hi, Melissa. How are you, dear?
Lovely, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Great, thank you. Nice to meet everyone today. And I'm in a bit of a different situation, so I'm starting up right now. I've been working in sales, marketing, and advertising for more than 25 years. And I've often wanted to start my own business, and now seems like a really good time to do it, since it's opportune, should I say. I also was made redundant a couple of months ago, so I've been spending some time thinking about how I will pivot. So I've spent a lot of time working with some small and medium enterprises, so I've been kind of working pro bono with them to understand what problems they're really facing. And I found a lot of similar challenges that they face, and they have wonderful ideas. And like Corey was saying earlier, the really, really small ones seem to have a lot more potential, and they are pivoting. So they are really changing their businesses the way they were. They've built e-commerce sites, for example, overnight themselves. But where they face the real challenge, and where I'm hoping to fit into the picture, is as a marketing director. So I'm positioning myself as like your marketing director in your pocket. You can use me for services based on an hourly fee. I'm very good at writing strategies. I've had a lot of experience in lots of different industries, from education to entertainment to luxury hotels. And then, of course, in advertising, I've worked in multiple sectors and verticals. And of course, I've been working since the fax machine, if I should say. So I've seen how things have changed a lot, and they do change all the time. So my biggest message always is you learn, you optimize, you go, you grow. You cannot have one solution at one time for anything. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. I've got, I'd say, 15 companies at the moment that I've met through the SME collective, which Tish, Tash Marketing and PR have set up. So I'm helping them and just contributing my time to try and get them through this period, because my personal feeling is that the next 6 months are going to be pretty tough. I think it's going to be at least 18 months before businesses look anywhere close to where they are, but that's a very long time. So I think that the way business is conducted is obviously going to change. And I think Carolina had the right idea many years ago, so well done to you. And I do believe that there will be a lot more people willing to work this way and have more control over their lives.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's me.
Great. Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
You're welcome, and you.
Agni, hi. Good afternoon.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. Tell us a little bit about you.
So I came to Dubai about 8.5 years ago with a large airline, and had been working in HR when I'm talking to SME owners, and they were always telling me how bad HR in this region is. And I'm going like, well, I'm an HR professional. It is not the most complicated employment law jurisdiction. So I'm not too sure, what do you mean? Why is HR so complicated out here? And then I looked into it, and I saw that if you have a company, 10, 15, 30 people, and the regulations are changing, like if you think about during lockdown, you went to bed, you thought everything was under control, great, I can get some sleep, and then you wake up in the morning and it had completely changed. That's where we thought, okay, 4.5 years ago, we set up Olam Group to address HR in SMEs, because let's face it, you don't have the time, especially during lockdown. We've seen it more and more where clients were saying, can you please find out what is the latest regulation? What can we do? What can't we do? Do we need to send everybody home? Can they come to the office? And that's where Olam says, okay, we have the resources, we will call the different ministries, we find out what is actually happening in the market so you can make sense of that. And at the same time, and it goes hand in hand with what Corey, Steve, sorry, someone else mentioned earlier about how you develop leaders out here, how you help them that, no, it's not just purely what's written in a policy to get your people engaged. It's not just about, oh, you've been a bad person, you came at 9:05 instead of 9 o'clock. It's trying to transform HR out here and really giving HR or business owners that freedom, because we work on a flexible pay-as-you-go basis. We can have retainers as well. There is no visa fees, none of the costs that you have with an employee for sick leave, medical, holidays. We're there for you. You give us a call, we sort it out. That's what we do.
Mm. And how do you see your work developing over the months to come?
I would love to see a lot more companies taking employees' well-being more serious. It's appalling what's happening in the region. And I'd say as soon as the market improves, employees are leaving a lot of companies. And then it's that big question, okay, now that you've lost your employees, how are you going to take any lessons learned? Or are you just going to continue doing the same things over and over? So I would love to see a lot more companies investing in holistic well-being, in respecting their employees, and not just looking at, oh, I have an employee handbook from the 1980s that I'm following, but a lot more common sense.
Great. Thank you so much, Agnes. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.
James, how are you? You are on mute.
Hi, thanks, Lorenzo. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. And on Thursday evening, happy weekend. So a little bit about my history and background. So I started in recruitment in 1998, and that was in the UK in London. And during that time, obviously, I was working with a multitude of different sort of multinational companies, banks, etc. I came to Dubai about 15 years ago and went straight into recruitment, but then obviously fell into lots of different other sort of roles and kind of took lots of different avenues, as it were. Sales, etc. But over time, what I've realized is that ultimately careers are really a big issue here, and obviously differentiating between jobs and careers, what they are. People in HR will understand that difference and differentiate, and hopefully some of you will also. So I created New North a couple of months ago, and I was working in-house for actually one of the largest real estate companies or brokerage firms in Dubai. And it was this sort of, you know, it was a good, very well paid job. It was coming in to run all their strategy. But I also knew that during the sort of lockdown that things really changed. And I love this company, by the way. It was a really great organization. I was there redoing all their HR. We actually developed and built our own training academy to make it pretty much one of the best property sales academies in Dubai. We also did a lot of the strategy side, implementing KPIs, performance management systems. So this was, the owners themselves were from, you know, let's say not so Western, and their sort of, their mindset about people they were really kind of quite archaic and quite backward in the way that they manage people. And so my job was really to sort of see if we could sort of bring them into the 21st century and as Agni mentioned, a sort of more holistic approach to people. And so they had about 70 sales agents during that time. And then of course, what happened is that we actually, when we built this training and this onboarding system, they were able to move up to 100 people. So we onboarded another 30, 40 people. And now there are about 140 sales agents. Now, of course, in real estate in particular, more than any other organization, there's a lot of people that don't really know what they're doing. Majority of people, let's say they go into careers for, let's say if you're a lawyer, you study law. If you're a bank, you study economics or finance. real estate people don't study real estate. They kind of fall into real estate. That's usually how it happens. So there's a lot of people from different backgrounds coming into this industry. And so I realized that it was important to actually give people really what they wanted in terms of a genuine career path within a particular industry sector. And it just so happened that I've been in real estate for a long time. So during lockdown, I realized that there's a lot of very disenchanted people, especially when you're working commission only as well. Very, very difficult, very hard. People trying to pay the rent, pay the bills. So it was very, very challenging. So during some time off, I decided to actually talk to people a lot more and really help them in terms of restructuring their careers, restructuring their CVs, restructuring themselves. And then New North was founded 2.5 months ago. So I'm also new to this as well, or this particular role. And so really what we are is about helping careers grow, helping them blossom, helping them develop, getting people back on track or restructuring. I've been speaking to a lot of people from Emirates, in particular, people from Crew, who have been here 10, 15 years, built a life, have friends, and now they're in a situation where, you know, what do they do next? Where do they go? So there's a lot of people who have unfortunately got themselves in a situation where they want to stay in Dubai, but they just don't know what to do or how they can add value. And in particular, it's also about working with CEOs and managing directors to help them understand that, you know, they're only as strong as their people, they're only as strong as their weakest link. And so that people should be at the forefront of their business objectives. So what I try to do is help them look at a manpower strategy that is very robust and comprehensive, providing training, providing support for their people, and really giving them proper, correct career growth so that people can feel like they're actually gaining experience, knowledge along the way. So this is really what New North's all about. In particular, I'm working with an organization now as a consultant for them, actually a few, but one in particular based in Bahrain. And again, they're salespeople, they don't really have any training. There's no performance management. There's no career growth, there's no development. The commission structures are all over the shop. So it's about going in and actually sort of getting my hands dirty and really sort of speaking to everyone on a one-on-one basis. I appraise the teams, especially in small to medium-sized enterprises, because as mentioned, that's where there's the most potential. And really kind of developing the sort of the human aspect of how we can actually connect MDs and CEOs with their people and sort of building that bridge together, because we don't want it to be an us and them situation. We want it to be a kind of a one whole family situation. So yeah, New North is basically career coaching and mentoring, some leadership coaching, and also business consultancy.
Excellent. Good, James. James, details are there. If anybody would like to get in touch with him. Very interesting project that you're working on, James, and we look forward to do a bit of work with you as well and promote the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Hi, Kavitha.
Hi, Lorenzo. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about you. Okay,
so I'm really what I would like to call myself an accidental entrepreneur. So to just give you a background, I've spent about 22 years completely focused on the enterprise IT market, writing about it and working with people. And when I was growing up, my parents had a family business. So I told them, I'm never going to be in business. I just, hate being in business. And today I'm doing exactly the opposite of that. And when, we started learning about computers, and people were using them, my mom used to say, you need to work on computers. I said, I'll never touch a computer. And today I'm almost all the time on it. I then wanted to get into journalism and start writing. And I said, I'll write all my life. And here I am, I don't have the time to write anymore. Although I started with a sort of technology editorial background. So, when I came to Dubai, I joined a publishing house where I was managing a portfolio of their technology magazines. And I've been here for about 16 years now. And then I sort of, after spending all this time, along with a colleague of mine, we started thinking about how long are we going to keep, doing the same thing? Does a writer always have to be a writer? Can we try to do something else? So we started really reaching out to our clients to talk about what more they want. And this is particularly in the technology space. And all of them said, we want to look at ideas where we can push borders, we can go beyond what's in the box. So that's really what started us thinking. And in 2011, I quit my job along with my colleague at the publishing house. And we said, let's be road warriors. Let's talk to our clients and see what we can do. So we started by saying, we'll write you case studies, we'll do your newsletter. Literally like two freelancers out there. And this went on for about 2 years. And then one day, one of our clients said, listen, guys, we can't keep paying you like freelancers. We're having audit issues, because we were working with a lot of global companies, the big technology firms. And funnily enough, I got an email from Creative Zone, which said, there's this company and we can help you launch a company in a week's time. So we made that call 6 years ago. In 1 week, we had our license sorted. In fact, a client gave us our name, which is CXO Strategies. He said, I'll give you the name, and he gave it to us. And we haven't looked back since. We've been in business now for a total of about 8 years, 6 years with Creative Zone. And we are what I would call a boutique strategy and marketing agency, but we deal only with tech clients. And we work with all the global majors, sort of handling their Middle East operations. And we've grown from just doing content. We do strategy today. We run their events. We do their planning. We really plan go-to-market strategies for them, simply because we sort of took the approach to put our capabilities out there rather than having a product that we were trying to sell them. So we took on anything they threw us. And now I would say we've grown into a full-fledged practice. We have a data practice. We have a lead generation practice, content, strategy, events, anything else that they can do. So we've got an ecosystem of about, I would say, 12 to 13 global tech clients, out of which I would say 6 are very, very regular, and we service all their needs. And it's been an interesting journey. So we thought we were going to be road warriors. We aren't anymore. We have a team of 10 people. So we've really got to take care of our teams as well. And I think one of the things this pandemic has really taught us is to look at what strengths we actually managed to build in our business. Because when we were doing content, we said we can't be doing only content. We've got to learn some other skill. So we went to and learned how to run events for our clients. When we did that, we said that's not enough. We need to learn something else. So we learned how to do go-to-market strategy and build database. So we built about 5 or 6 areas of capabilities. And I think, funnily enough, every time there's been a dip in the market, the other 2 fall and 3 keep us alive. So I think we kind of proved that that's the way things should be. So we've diversified, we've built strengths, and we've sort of managed to survive doing that. So that's where we are. And, we're very focused on the tech space. So I'm not sure if any of you, also do deal with tech companies. But then if you're looking, we deal with people like Dell Technologies, which is our biggest client, Palo Alto Networks, Citrix, we deal with Nutanix, all the global names, and we work with them directly. So if you see anything where we can engage, where we can take something to them, which is interesting, feel free to reach out to us. So
Great.
that's us.
Great. Thank you, Kavitha. Thank you so much. And your details are there on the chat. So anybody, please get in touch with Kavitha. Hi, Francisco. How are you?
Hi, Lorenzo. Hi, everyone. How are you?
Are you still in Argentina, or you're back?
No. I am in Dubai now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen just to
all right, go for it.
Okay, we are a tech factory, tech company and startup studio with more than 20 years in the tech industry and 10 years with a successful story in e-commerce. We launched alamaula.com in South America. That was a success in different countries in South America, also in Mexico. That was sold to eBay in 2011. Then we create My Marketplace, exit to Nasper in 2016. We work closely rebuilding the platform in the top 5 in Brazil, e-commerce in Brazil, Buscapé, also exit to Nasper. And currently we are leading a startup studio model and a tech factory at the same time. We've been working a lot this lockdown or COVID. We have deployed teams in Argentina, US, and here in the Middle East, in Dubai. We are currently leading the operation of Yala Baby Box, which is an e-commerce business by subscription, which is a very innovative business model running in the UAE and soon by a new round of investment we are launching in Saudi Arabia and trying to expand to the rest of the GCC. And Job Nation, which is another marketplace for career services, very innovative as well, with a very high-end technology behind in the US. We are also increasing our operation there in terms of marketing and commercially. At the same time, we have a team allocated for a big partnership we did with NetSuite. NetSuite is a commerce platform of Oracle in the US. So basically, Eureka Labs is one of the main suppliers of NetSuite in all the projects they have, not only in e-commerce, but also in different kind of tech business. We are supporting with developers hours, mostly from Argentina, because of the cost effectiveness. And well, we have more than 50 developers, highly qualified, and now we are increasing to 100, hopefully in the next 6 months. I've been in Dubai for the last 5 to 6 years. Well, Yala Baby was launched 6-7 months ago, and because of the COVID, we had been very beneficial on the COVID situation. In May, June has been a month that we work a lot, hopefully, and now there is a bit decrease because of mostly the summer. Some people left already in Dubai, some of the moms, but we are raising the level of subscribers, and this is quite good. So we are on the learning curve at the heights of the product market fit, and starting preparing everything for a new investment round.
Very good. Francisco?
Yes.
I think it's been the right time for all the tech companies, especially anybody involved in e-commerce and these kind of activities, right?
Yes, 100%. Well, Carolina explained very well how difficult it is to create a strong team that is being deployed in different countries. Well, this is a result of 10 years in e-commerce and let's say 20 years in tech business throughout all the co-founders. And now we can see that because of we've been training for that, and suddenly there is a worldwide pandemic in which push all the companies to go through this, and the ones who has been dealing with this for the last 10 years, now we can adapt quickly, and this is what we have been done. And there are some other big tech companies, examples of case study like Globan in Argentina, because we are from Argentina with Lorenzo as well, but some other South American or US success study, even also in the Middle East, that has been increasing a lot because of that. Basically, they're used to deal with this kind of working from home, this kind of stuff spread around the world, and we have all the tools that we can daily use to maintain effectiveness in the operation.
Right. Excellent. Thank you so much, Francisco. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Excellent. Yusuf, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. So tell us a little bit about you and introduce who you are. I mean, we know you quite well at Creative Zone. We have partnered with you in a few ventures. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Sure. So started after being a lawyer for a while, realized I didn't like lawyers too much. Moved over towards investment into startups. Then set up my own little investment vehicle, a little VC that started investing into companies such as Olive and otherwise. Predominantly tech is what we were focusing on. I realized that most of my time was being eaten away by providing the same thing to all companies that they needed, which was legal. All startups need legal advice and can't afford the KPM, you know, the Alan Overys, etc. They all need good accountants, not the ones that they pick up on true story on the side of streetlight at Riga every Saturday. They need proper qualified accountants who can give them not just the accounts, but kind of a view into the financials. Of course, I was being asked to do this again. Then digital, social media, that. And then finally, they needed the cash. So to avoid doing all those things, or I thought I was being smart by trying to avoid doing all those things, we set up the ancillary services specifically directed towards the fund, which was these three services. That then started to expand rapidly towards non-fund companies. And this is kind of where we sit today. It's you know, the team's expanded, the group has expanded. What was just meant to service us internally is now we're the SME lawyers, we're the SME accountants, we're the SME digital guys at the same time. We've now just launched as well Fund Part 2. So we're reinvesting again, and thankfully we have the back office already to manage these investments. So really it's interesting stuff, anything. This is a sector agnostic fund, meaning that we're investing into anything. One of the things solar, for example, solar energy, tech, restaurants, you name it. So
are you going to be active in new investments in the coming months?
We've already invested in 2 companies in the last month. And in the next 3 to 6 months, I think now is kind of the perfect opportunity to more find good deals rather than set new things up. I think there's a lot of good companies out there that are just struggling for cash flow. I think it was mentioned that payments are the biggest problem we face, that and now legal problems. Even I myself within my own companies had to pivot. We lost 50% revenue in March, just out of nowhere. Retainer clients started to disappear, the regular. And we're saying we're a law firm. If the law firm is losing clients, how bad is everybody else suffering? And we even had to pivot as a law firm. We typically do commercial and corporate. Now we pivoted towards divorce law, because go figure, when people are forced to stay in the same house for too long, they don't like each other anymore. So the divorce cases went up by about 500%. So there's a lot of things that we pivoted towards, but now I think things are I'm hoping, depending on how, again, the virus acts. As Corey mentioned, virus does what a virus does, right? So depending on how it progresses, we may be seeing what I'm hoping is at least the first bottom. Things are starting to slowly stabilize, or at least people want them to. And it's that desire that's driving a bit more of activity. So we are looking into right now kind of companies that are starting to recover themselves but need a bit of a help. And then in 6 to 12 months, we'll be setting up our own ventures as well. But for now, yeah, we are investing actively. And I think it is, as somebody else mentioned as well, the perfect time to do this. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Yusuf. Thank you for coming in. Thank you. Juan, how are you, dear? How's it going?
Hello, Lorenzo. Very well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. Very nice to meet you all. Very interesting to know more about your companies. Regarding myself, my name is Juan. I am in Dubai for the last 7 years. I'm running the Luxury Network, which is a business-to-business network for luxury brands covering all the industries, where through affinity marketing or under the umbrella of partnership marketing, our members' brands are working with each other in order to get access to each other clients. So we cover all the luxury industries, yacht, jets, property, watches, jewelry, cars, and through partnership marketing, our members are selling the luxury products or services to other consumers. So basically, our business model is very structured. We started in 2006 in the UK. We have 37 international offices and globally looking after more than 700 luxury brands from all the industries. We work with top brands from Rolls-Royce to Bentley, McLaren, Execujet, Ferrari, Panerai watches, Cartier, and a long etc. of luxury brands. So then we cover the business-to-business collaboration part of our members. So let's say from joint events, product launches, luxury showcases, client entertainment, editorial sharing, privilege, reward programs, gift with purchase activities, and a long etc. of activities that our members brands are working with each other. And then the business to consumer part as well. So when, for example, McLaren organizes a track day for prospecting, they always organize it with the luxury network. So other non-competitive luxury brands are inviting their clients to a beautiful racing experience provided by McLaren. So it's, I'm a luxury real estate company. Thanks for buying a property. I'm gonna invite you, I'm gonna reward you with a beautiful racing experience provided by McLaren. And for McLaren, it's great because they are getting direct access to new pre-qualified high net worth consumers. And in fact, they're selling their cars. So I'm gonna share, so we create basically strategic alliances, brand partnerships, sales, and business development activities for high-end brands.
A lot of your work was based around events. How are you adjusting to this issue?
Yes, so the COVID situation has affected us globally big time. As you said, we create experiences for high net worth individuals. We create, you know, from fine dining experiences, track days, golf days, polo days, exciting experiences for high net worth individuals to come to our events so that our members brands get access to new potential consumers. Globally, we've been very heavily affected. There is no opportunity to do events, especially big events. So now moving forward, what we are doing is more kind of a small events in partnership with 2, 3, 4 brands where they can entertain their clients and get access to new potential consumers.
Excellent.
So we bring from one side, let's say, brands that are more into products, and then we sell with others that are more into service providers. By combining them together is where they really get the most out of it. So yes, from March, we have to cancel all events. I'm running the UAE, so we have to cancel from all track days and racing experiences. We had to cancel the Dubai Boat Show, our Golf Day, Apollo Day, etc., and along, etc. of activities. But I'm positive because at the end of the day, luxury brands, they need to communicate with their existing customers. They need to treat their consumers. They need to find different ways of how to get access to new potential consumers. And that's actually what we offer. So the luxury industry has been very heavily affected in general for the pandemic. But at the end of the day, high net worth individuals, they like to treat themselves. And you know, there are certain very positive news in the luxury industry. For example, in China, when Hermes opened the boutique after the COVID, they broke all their sales records. They sold like almost $3 million in one day. So yeah, still, I think there are opportunities for us to grow. There are a lot of luxury brands that need what we offer, and yeah, looking forward. Summer is also being quiet in Dubai. We are starting to be very active in other regions, in Australia, New Zealand, not in Europe. And I believe from September onwards, we will come back to track big events. Don't know. For example, Formula One or Dubai Boat Show, they announced that they're going to go ahead now in November and December. So let's see how that goes. But the small events, or in terms of number of guests, they will go ahead. Let me share the screen. Let me share with you just a few examples of activities or events that we've organized. This is, for example, the invitation. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is, for example, the invitation sent by Lux Habitat, that is a luxury real estate company, to their clients to attend a fantastic event in partnership with McLaren. So as you can see, it's Lux Habitat in partnership with McLaren UAE and the Luxury Network. I'm pleased to invite you to the exclusive McLaren 570S Spider Regional Drive event. So it's a 3-day event at Bulgari Hotel. Guests check in the Bulgari Hotel, then casual dinner with the McLaren team. Next day, after the breakfast, we drove to Jebel Jais, which is the highest mountain in the UAE, and there is no radars, so we really raced there. It was a fantastic experience. Then we did the world's largest zip lane. We drove back, and out of this event, McLaren sold 3 cars. So it's from one side, it's an amazing opportunity for other brands to reward their clients or entertain their clients, or as a client retention activities. For McLaren, in that case, is amazing because they get direct access to new potential consumers, pre-qualified, high net worth potential consumers. This is, for example, this is another event we did with Panerai. In this case, this is the invitation set by Rolls-Royce Motor Cars AGMC to their private clients to attend a Panerai event. So it's, as you can see from the agenda, so it's guests coming to the Four Seasons Hotel. We were offering 3 different experiences: sailing, diving, and watchmaking class on board of a fantastic Majestic 155. They were showcasing their 2019 novelties, and yeah, so they invited the clients, but for prospecting, we brought Rolls-Royce owners, we brought jet owners, we brought the owner of the world's largest Patek Philippe collection. So for prospecting, there is no better way than working with other non-competitive brands.
And from now on, you can add us onto your mailing list, so you can invite us from now on to your events.
Yes, sure. We will. So those events are, so we're a B2B, we work with the brands, and brands invite their clients. So we bring different non-competitive brands together, and we agree how to work with each other. So from one side, we offer client retention activities, and from the other side, access to new potential consumers.
Great. Thank you so much, Juan. Thank you for this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stephen, you have quite an interesting project also going on. Tell us a little bit about your project.
Yeah, great. So hello, everyone. My name's Stephen. I've been in Dubai for about 7 years. The last 4 years, I've been involved in short-term rental management. And last year, I made the plunge and co-founded a company. Here, I try to do the technology above, Quintessential Quarters. And just this past week, we actually created a separate brand to face the owner investor, and that's called the Showstay. Yeah. So short stay, or host, all kind of fitting in together there. But in a nutshell, we're a tech and design management company for short-term rentals. And we're managing 11 properties over 2 countries. And we've been focusing on the AI and the dynamic technology to really ensure that we get the best returns for our clients. And just when we were about to scale, COVID took over. But yeah, we pivoted here and there where we needed to. And now actually we're looking to scale here in the Dubai market. It's very interesting. Everyone's aware of kind of the free fall of prices. I mean, if we look from the peak of 2014, long-term rents are down 40%, yeah? And they're continuing to drop. With short-term rental, this provides a proven alternative to owners and investors to try to mitigate those drops. And also interesting, I want to highlight that it's not just for tourists. It's for transient cities such as Dubai, where people don't know if they're going to be signing long contracts with their employers. They don't want to sign a year-long contract. And with short-term rental, they have the flexibility and transparency because there's reviews on the sites like Airbnb, Booking.com. They have easy payments because it's just by credit card, and then also they don't need to sign any contract. They don't need to do it with brokers. There's a lot of upside. Yeah? So it's been really interesting during this time, and surprisingly, our occupancy rates have gone up during the pandemic. So that's pretty fantastic. The rates have dropped a bit. We expected, towards 50% negative returns, but it was actually about minus 10% compared to our projections.
How come the occupancy rates are still high? Wouldn't you be relying a lot on tourism?
No. And so that's the key message. A new profile has emerged. So people need work from home environments. I heard a few people say, it's been kind of a juggling act sometimes when they're in the apartments. So the more affluent ones actually rented specific spaces. There's other ones who got stranded. People needed accommodation because they had no other choice. But then there's also another profile where people don't know if they're going to be here for X months or even X years, and they don't want to sign a year-long contract. They don't like dealing with brokers and having to negotiate with landlords. Oh, come on, give me 6 months and then we'll do this and that. And so because of the transient nature of Dubai, the short-term rental market has been extremely resilient. And I think will continue to be so just because of the economic situation. And on top of that, unlike other world-class cities, there's no housing crisis. There's abundant housing. And so owners and investors are looking for interesting ways to mitigate those drops in long-term rents.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Stephen, for sharing your story, and we look forward to keep in touch with you.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks so much.
Muntasir, how are you?
Hey, I'm great, Lorenzo. Thank you.
Tell us about you.
Well, yes, so my name is Muntasir, and I founded Meme Box. This 8 years now, and I was under employment all these years. It was in November 2019 that my company took a big step of making 3,000 positions redundant globally, and my name popped out one among them, and I could see that coming anyways because of the economic crisis that was expected, the US-China trade war and all that. No one knew COVID-19 would come, right? So anyways, December, I had a clear mind what I want to do. I knew job market is going to be tough. I registered this, I started talking with Creative Zone and registered this company, Meme Box. What I actually wanted to do was something that I've been passionate about. I was very clear with this. Let me just share my screen quickly. Yeah. I have a presentation. I think that will put everything in good perspective. Just a second. Okay, so I guess you can see my screen. This is the company, Meme Box. And meme, the name we got inspired with the Arabic alphabet, meme. Okay, basically it's M in English. That's Arabic meme. And the idea behind this was to sell art. I'm passionate about art, but not regular art that we see in our daily lives. This is the art from streets of Istanbul, from Turkey. Turkey, as you know, being one of the oldest traditional and richest cultural country globally, it is rich of Arabic art. And this unique art is not to be seen so commonly in this part of the world, although we are an Arab country in UAE or the Middle East as a whole. So knowing how the market is going to be, and I had to save costs, I made sure we developed an e-commerce platform in-house while having zero knowledge about it. So without any coding, that's the interesting part about our platform today. These pictures on the right that you see are basically snapshots from our website. Social media marketing, SEO implementation, everything has been done, again, in-house. From photography to promos to videography, everything in-house. All I did was I went and talked to our suppliers and found vendors for packaging, shipping, partnered with shipping companies and banking, registering with the payment gateway, etc. So this is a quick snapshot about Memebox. The inception, well, again, like I said, I'm a mechanical engineer. I used to sell construction equipment in the market. Of course, that construction market has been on a downfall, but then I've been passionate about architecture and carpentry. And what I did was I actually I took out my mechanical engineer hat and put on the IT hat and learned how to develop an e-commerce platform from scratch. And we came up with Memebox finally. And the best time, I would say, to develop this platform was during COVID-19, the lockdown period. No driving, no stress about anything outside of your house, just be in the house and work. So I could spend hours, and thanks to that. This actually, we started selling these calligraphy clocks, as you saw the pictures in the previous slide. But then I came up with this brand new concept where I will write your names in Arabic calligraphy and make it a wall art. And that developed into these pictures that you see on the right. Basically, these art on the right are names of family members. It's more like a keepsake that people can hang it on their wall. And I learned calligraphy as well. And I started making my own designs and producing them locally. And within the past 2 months, I already have a clientele base of 20 clients. And every day now I'm getting inquiries, touch wood. And I've been getting customized requests as well to design their walls in their house, or even anything out of the box, basically. So people love calligraphy, and I feel there has been a big gap in the market over here that calligraphy, Arabic calligraphy especially, has not been there inside people's homes. And I'm trying to fill that gap, basically, through Memebox and my ideas. So one very strong feeling that I have is that this is a B2C business setup, and my business has been progressing because of that. And people, it's not B2B. If it was B2B, then yes, we would have had a problem. So to all you people out there, we are open for design and production for calligraphic designs for homes, offices, even malls. And we are open to participate in art shows, seminars, panel discussions, anywhere, and we can talk about it. Pretty much, yes, everything in-house. And I'm proud of that we came so far. So pretty much, I'll stop sharing now. That's about me and my company.
Great. Thank you so much, Muntasir. Great designs there. Very interesting project. Anything that it relates to calligraphy always catches my attention. I have a massive calligraphy painting on my living room. I'll show it to you once. It's done by an Iranian painter. But guys, I think this is it. It took a little bit longer than expected, so we thank you all for hanging out and taking the time and to being so respectful of each other's times. I just didn't want to cut people, but we went a little bit longer than expected. But again, I think it was a great session, many stories. Nice to meet you all. Hopefully you can pick it up from here. You now have a reason to communicate with one another, communicate with each other. Always, my door is open for anything that we can do from our side at Creative Zone, and keep on helping you through your journey. We're here to help, and we congratulate all the amazing work that you're all doing, and hopefully we will come out strong out of this pandemic. So once again, thank you for connecting, and it's nice to see you all, and I look forward to staying in touch.
Hey, thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Good evening.
Thank you, all.
Bye.
Have a beautiful weekend ahead. Bye.
Same to you guys.
That dog
Cheers.
has got
Bye-bye.
the biggest ears I've ever seen on a dog.